I'm Rachel Belle, and this is Your Last Meal, the show where celebrities share stories about the foods they love most, and we dig into the history, culture, or science of those meals with experts from around the world. Today on the program, Jonathan Russell, lead singer and co-founder of The Head and the Heart.
Been talking about the way things change, and my family lives in a different state.
Jonathan tells me the psychological reason why he likes seafood boils and why The Head and the Heart started seeing a therapist together. And if you are an introvert who gets a little anxiety around social occasions, you won't want to miss this episode. My friend Roz Ray joins the show to talk about her excellent strategies for navigating parties. That is coming up later in the show. But first, my conversation with Jonathan Russell.
Rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you.
When we talk about food, we often talk about bringing people together, using food as the catalyst to create community, gathering around a table, literally and metaphorically breaking bread. But none of that has ever really resonated with Jonathan Russell.
I'm still trying to come to terms with like people and I agree with it when I hear it, but like the community around eating and the social thing, and it's like, I know that that's true. I believe you when you're saying that, but I just still have like anxiety around eating around people. It was just like so tense eating at my dinner table every night. Oh. Sometimes I would just go to my room and eat because it was just like not worth the argument. So food for me is like, I sort of like, my MO is to just like not want to eat in front of people. It's kind of up. So,
oh no. So that's because your family dynamic, like there was so much arguing.
Like, I associate that moment with like tense stress and like just waiting for somebody to start yelling at somebody.
Oh, that's too bad, because that's so interesting, because there is this kind of obsessive talk about how important it is for families to eat together at the dinner table. But that is assuming that people are having a nice time at the dinner table. Yeah. You have a new baby, right?
I do. I have an 8-month-old.
Yeah. And I was wondering if that's going to change the way you eat at all, as far as thinking about food more as traditions as you are raising a family and having your own dinner table now.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely something I want to break the cycle of. I mean, more and more, especially with Margot, especially now because we're introducing solids. We'll try and sit at the dinner. My wife's family, I want to say this, like my wife's, she comes from a family where they sit together all the time. And anytime we get together, they're like entertaining and eating together is a big part of their life. So I'm being like retrained in this way where it's like, see, this is nice. Like people want to be here. Like it's learn how to have a conversation while you're eating. Don't just like get it done and then want to leave. I feel like this is such a drag. It was like a conversation, a podcast around food. And I'm like, I kind of struggle with eating food. No,
I actually think that this is very interesting. I'm fascinated in this.
One of my superpowers is obsession of like wanting growth. I love growth, using this lifetime to continue to grow as a person. And in terms of like partners, I think I wanted a way out. I wanted a way out of what I was. I mean, God bless my family. I mean, I know that they did the best they could. But yeah, it was a lot.
What would your last meal be?
So I grew up in like North Florida. So I went with like a seafood boil. And then I would also want to add stuffing and gravy. And I'd probably do like a key lime pie, banana cream custard pie. And we're talking because it's the last meal. I don't care how I feel, right? So I'm going to do those, and I'm going to do a bowl of ice cream with chocolate fudge.
Tell me more about the seafood boil. So like I've been to a crawfish boil. Is it like that? Is it like the potatoes and the corn?
I think that's what I mean when I say that. Yeah. With crab. I'm not huge on crawfish. I'll do it.
It's a lot of work for not a lot of meat. I just went to one kind of recently for the first time in years, and like you are working on opening those tiny little bodies.
Yeah. I mean, kind of same for like I remember when I moved to Seattle and people are used to, what is it? Like king crab?
Dungeness.
Yeah. And so I remember like some of those friends looking at like blue crab, which is like big in Maryland out here, which is what I was used to. It's pretty similar. It's a lot of work you're constantly in motion, like but I don't mind.
That's interesting to me because to me, eating a seafood boil is because of community. Like you're all standing around this table working on it. Like I can't imagine having one by yourself, or even with like a couple people. Is that something that like you did when you were younger, or was that something from when you were older, these seafood boils?
I guess a little older, but what I like about it is because you're constantly having to work for the food, you can you can sneak by without, like people can kind of disengage with you because you're looking down and I'm doing something. Like it kind of gave me an out. I didn't have to talk to people because I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm like really trying to get this meat out of this crab leg here. Like you can look busy. It's like busy work, so you don't have to talk to people. Maybe
I need you to come to my Hanukkah party because I call it latke prison. Like I insist on making latkes fresh when people are here, but then I get stuck at the stove. So always there's like at least one introvert who is having a hard time talking to people, and they'll come and do the latkes for me so that I can go out into the party.
Sign me up.
You probably always want a job at a party.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I will be cleaning the whole time, which is not necessary. Taking trash out when there's no trash. Yeah.
For his last meal, Jonathan Russell wants stuffing and gravy, key lime pie, banana cream custard pie, a bowl of ice cream with chocolate fudge, and a seafood boil, so he can stay busy cracking crabs instead of making conversation.
I was an incredibly shy kid. I am a recovering shy person.
That's my friend, Roz Ray. Roz isn't as introverted as Jonathan, but we have had similar conversations about how she likes to have a job at a party. Over the years, she has created a party game plan so she can feel more comfortable in social situations where she doesn't really know anyone. It's almost like the introvert's guide to going to a party. What do you do?
I have strategies.
Your strategies.
I have party strategies.
Yeah. What are your party strategies?
Party strategies that I think apply to parties where I'm going and I don't know a lot of people. Like I will absolutely get to the party like on time. And if I can get there early, like if it's the kind of situation where the host is okay with me getting there early, I will get there early.
Why?
First of all, if I'm friends with the host, I want to hang out with the host. And as soon as there's 90 bajillion people there, I'm not going to get to hang out with the host. The host is going to be flitting around hanging out with a bunch of other people. I get this feeling of like, if I'm kind of the first one there, it's like I own the place now.
Okay. I didn't know this part.
Oh, okay.
Go on. So tell me, Queen, like what do you own at these parties when you arrive first?
It's not so much that. It's just like, I know where everything is because I got to be here first with nobody around. So I got to clock like, okay, I know where the bathroom is. I know where the drinks are. I know where the snacks are. I know where people's coats are supposed to go. There's nothing I don't know. And I get to kind of meet people as they trickle through the door, which is much lower stakes and much easier for me to do than walking into a party that is in full swing and just having this like mad crush of conversation that I'm trying to wade into.
I totally understand that. I, as an extrovert, find that awkward as well, trying to kind of push yourself into these existing conversations. Roz is also exactly the kind of hero we need in latke prison.
Man, I love a job.
Yes.
I love a job under certain circumstances. When I'm going to a party at your house, all of your friends are lovely conversationalists. So I don't have a problem. I can put on my big kid pants and just like talk to strangers. But there's other events that I go to where people are maybe not as outgoing or they're a little more cliquish or they scan to me as a little more cliquish. And then if I have a job, then there's no awkwardness. Because I'm just doing a thing.
The time that I was given a job once that made me the most excited was during the pandemic. I made a point of learning how to chop wood and always make a fire because I'd had a couple times when I was camping when the fire wouldn't light and it was like, what are we going to do? We need this to cook. So your cousin, Brian, he gave me an axe, a very nice Swedish axe as a gift. And I started practicing. I would go down to Golden Gardens on the weekends and sometimes ask people like, do you want to come have a morning bonfire and I'll cook? And I would chop the wood in the parking lot and I'd light the fires. So around this time, I was keeping my axe in my trunk and I went to a party where I didn't know anyone. It was a surprise party and I only knew the birthday person. So they weren't even there in the beginning part. And it was a backyard party and the host came up to me and said, would you mind building a fire? She didn't know any of my backstory. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, I have an axe. She's like, you have an axe? And I felt so cool that I had an axe in my trunk. And then I just like Paul Bunyaned it up and I made this fire. I mean, it was so exciting for my new skill to be put into action. And I had a job to do. And people kept coming over and wanting to watch and ask questions. It was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We do sushi making parties every once in a while. And that's an easy thing for us to do. If we have people coming over who we know don't know each other, having a sushi making party where you've got all the ingredients and you're like processing the ingredients and then you're rolling the rolls and then you're cutting the rolls. And that's like the activity that also produces tasty food. Scott will do cocktail tastings, right? Where he's making a bunch of like mini cocktails for people. He brings them out. We all try it. It's a point of conversation.
I love that. It's so fun. We have coming up, we're doing a banh mi blind tasting.
Yeah, we are.
We're going to try a bunch and decide which is our favorite in Seattle. And I feel like same thing, like you're talking about what you're eating and you're talking about this little project. Shy people take note.
Shy people take note. Do tastings. Add a theme. Yeah. Going to a party that does not have food is more difficult because at least like the food then becomes a conversation starter.
Yes.
Right.
Like we established earlier, Roz can be more shy than introverted. Introverts generally get their energy and recharge from time alone. Extroverts get their energy from being around other people, which brings us back to Jonathan.
You know, I've been off tour for a week, so I'm probably even more introverted right now than I get. Because, you know, you give a lot when you're out there. And so I'm probably coming across even more hardcore introverted than I am. But right now the well is kind of low. Yeah, in general, I enjoy working more than talking. Like when I worked at bars, I bartended for a while, did tables. But my favorite job was like bar backing because you're just essentially the workhorse. You're just go, 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 go. You don't have to like, it doesn't really matter how you like to make your Bloody Mary, you know, for these 6 different Bloody Mary typed people. And brunch was brutal. Did you ever work at restaurants? Did you ever have to deal with brunch?
I was only a barista, but I've read enough of Anthony Bourdain's to know that people hate brunch. Like everybody hates working brunch is what I've perceived.
It's tough because, you know, there's like that food gets cold quick and everybody wants it at the same time, but they also want their drinks. And you could have anyone from like the hot tea lady to the Bloody Mary person. I mean, when somebody came in and just wanted a beer and like eggs, it was like, thank God, thank you. Yeah, I also just wasn't great at it. I think, brunch is gnarly.
Has working at restaurants and bars changed the way that you eat in restaurants and bars?
It's probably changed the way I order. I probably should just ignore it and order what I want, but I'll kind of get a sense of like, this person's having a really hard time. Like, I'll just get this instead. I'm kind of that person.
Oh, you'll be the eggs and beer guy.
Yeah, like which is projecting like they may not care at all, or you know they might actually enjoy a challenge. But yeah, I think I would be affected by the energy and try to keep it simple.
After the break, Jonathan tells me how the head and the heart ended up in therapy. I couldn't be more thrilled that Your Last Meal's newest sponsor is Visit Langley. The adorable seaside village of Langley on Whidbey Island in Washington State is one of my favorite places on earth. And since it's only about a 30-minute drive to the ferry from Seattle and a gorgeous 20-minute ferry ride, I visit all the time. But this month, you're going to want to spend the whole weekend there, holiday shopping at the quaint locally owned shops. One of my favorites is Grey Horse Mercantile, where you can get all of your artisanal, beautifully packaged tin fish and chocolate and spices. Find some treasures at Mutiny Bay Antiques, or pop into Edit for chic, well-crafted clothing and artful home goods. Then sitting down for excellent local seafood or pizza with a view of the Saratoga Passage and the Cascade Mountains. Langley is so cute, you will feel like the main character in your very own Hallmark movie. So put on a chunky sweater, get a steamy, cozy beverage from a Langley cafe, and live out your Western Washington winter dreams. Just like I just lived out my alliteration dreams. Plan your visit. Go to visitlangley.com. There is a pub in Seattle's Ballard neighborhood called Connor Burn that has a little stage in the back corner. There is a wall of exposed brick, a blue velvet curtain, and an old chandelier lit overhead. It's a romantic little corner, and a lot of live music is played there. I've been to Connor Burn many times. It's not far from where I live. Many of my friends' bands have played there, and it is where the Head and the Heart got its start. There's so much lore in Seattle around how you got, quote, discovered. And the story that I have heard is that you were discovered at an open mic night at Connor Burn. Is that true?
I mean, that's pretty accurate. That's where we would cut our teeth. That's where we would work on new songs. Before the band was decidedly the 6 members it is now, you know, we sort of spent quite a few months like trying different musicians in and out, different instrumentation. So it's kind of where a lot of people watch just go from songwriters just meeting one another to fully fleshed out songs. We knew like the bartender who was also the booking agent, so she would let us open up for like, you know, out of town bands. So I'd say that's relatively accurate. Yeah.
Okay. Was it like somebody from the industry was there and saw you? Was it that kind of story?
I don't know. I mean, I think anybody from the industry mostly started seeing us at our own concerts outside of that open mic.
Yeah.
Our first booking agent, she saw us playing at like a backyard house party. It's a little bit of a stretch that we were discovered there. You know what I mean? That's kind of like, that's not necessarily accurate, I guess, but let's let that ride. I mean, that's like the epicenter of this band beginning. So
yeah. And I know a lot of bands started going to open mics there because they're like, is this going to happen to us too?
Oh, that's, I like that feeling.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more in detail how the band did form. Like, how did you find your way to Seattle? How did the 6 of you get together?
I wound up in Seattle. So I'm in Richmond, Virginia right now, which is where I've been living off and on since 2004. In 2009, I was ready to get out of Richmond. Apathy was in the air. And so I wanted to get out of here and go somewhere where there was just more of a music scene. And I spent a few weeks like driving cross country with a friend of mine who was going to move to Seattle, and I had nowhere else to go. So I just got in the car with this friend and crashed on their couch for a couple of months, got a job in West Seattle. So that's what brought me there. And Connor Burn was the first open mic, first like really nightlife experience I had in Seattle. I remember like we literally had to bust open a piggy bank because we had spent all of our money to get to Seattle, and her cousin had this piggy bank, and we literally were like, we'll pay you back. So we go to Connor Burn with like quarters, nickels, and dimes, you know, and I was like, it's all good. I'll play some songs and somebody will buy us a beer, which did happen. And that's where I met Josiah, who I started this band with. He is the one member no longer in this band. He left about 8 or 10 years ago now. So Connor Burn, again, was the first touch point. I mean, I went there and I saw Josiah singing in some of his own songs. And I remember him covering Bon Iver, Skinny Love, which I had heard on the drive out to Seattle. It was like on a playlist and I had no idea who it was, but I loved that song. And so like a movie, I walk into this bar and there's some stranger performing that song that I'm obsessed with. And I'm like, I was like, maybe this is the person who wrote it, because I didn't know anything about Bon Iver. I didn't know who Bon Iver was. So I get to know Josiah. And then a few weeks later, we meet this guy, Kenny. He just moved up from Los Angeles, and he plays piano. And Josiah's like, hey, you should come to my house. We do music Mondays. And so now there's the 3 of us writing songs together. And we would go to like the downtown public library. On the top floor of the public library in Seattle, they have 2 music rooms that you can rent out for an hour for free. Usually there's a piano in there in each one, or like a digital piano. So we'd go there. We'd play our songs in parking garages. We'd play our songs in open mics, pretty much anywhere we could. And through Connor Byrne, man, we just kept meeting like other musicians that would try out. They would sit in with us. And after about 10 months of doing that, we had Down in the Valley, we had Ghosts, and Sounds Like Hallelujah, which are all on the first record.
The 3 eventually became 6, and the band included 2 Connor Byrne bartenders.
So it was a little bit of like the right place, right time, but also all of us were just at places in our lives where we were looking for another person to be as serious as we were individually, you know? That's just something I struggled with here in Richmond, Virginia as well. Is like, it's just hard to find people to put all their eggs into one basket with anything. Long story long, that's essentially how we all met. It really was meeting all through Connor Byrne.
During the pandemic, the band ended up going to therapy, which I thought was so interesting because it made me think back on that Metallica documentary from, I don't know, like 15 years ago, and having Lars, talking about his feelings. I think that it's amazing and very mature. I mean, a lot of bands could probably stay together if they would go to therapy. Tell me how you got to that idea, and how did you find a therapist for a band?
Right. Well, we have Charity to thank for all of this.
Charity Rose Thielen is a violinist and vocalist in The Head and the Heart.
It was her idea, and it was her kind of constantly nudging us. And we ended up working with her name is Dr. Lee Norton. She's phenomenal. She's used to working with groups. Like, she does a lot of like corporate CEOs and power dynamics in groups, as well as like people on death row. She was part of this team that like coined the phrase PTSD. So she's got some pretty like rich history, and she's incredible at what she does.
Yeah, I read that you were talking about the fact that she worked with CEOs and that the band was basically 6 CEOs.
6 CEOs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
What brought you to therapy? I mean, you don't have to give like super specifics, but guys starting to have conflict.
What brought the band to therapy? Well, just imagining like you cutting to like some cartoon of insane things happening. But right around that time is when Josiah Johnson, who's the member I started the band with, exited the band for drug reasons and addiction reasons and health. I mean, all of the umbrella that comes with that. Literally the first week that we were in the studio making Signs of Light with a producer for the first time ever on a major label. So it was a shit show. There's no way to sugarcoat it. And my coping mechanism was to just dive into work, right? Like work harder, work longer hours, show up earlier, write more songs, try and fill that void. He and I were the main songwriters, and I just put my head down and went to work. No one really processed. We were close friends. We were best friends. He was a huge part of what people like interacted with in this band, especially at that time. I myself was even more withdrawn and just didn't really do well with like press. And I love writing songs. I love performing. I've gotten much better at speaking to people. I wasn't great at it. And Josiah, he was kind of the face. So, the whole thing just kind of flipped on its head, and we didn't process it while making the record. We didn't process it before we went on tour. And we definitely didn't process it on tour. So years go by, and when that Signs of Light, now the next record is Living Mirage, which is the second record on Warner Brothers. And we were out in Joshua Tree writing, and you could just tell, everyone was just so fragmented. I had moved back to Virginia. Tyler had moved back to Virginia. Kenny went back to LA. And our relationships really didn't engage until we were working again. And so we didn't have the tools for that.
Yeah.
Things like that. Our writing was suffering. Our touring was suffering. Tears, anger, the silent treatment, just stress. That's what brought us. Mm-hmm. That's what brought us to looking for a therapist. And
did it help?
Oh yeah, immensely. Yeah.
Okay.
Not overnight. It's like a 6-person marriage, and like it definitely helped. We had a call with her the last week of this last tour, which was about 2 weeks ago. There's just always more to, unwind or discuss. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm curious, when you are on the road touring. Now, after hearing this, I don't know if you eat by yourself or if you would eat with the band. Would you guys eat together?
It's So meals on the road are strange, even more strange for myself because a schedule is really dictating what I eat and when I eat. Because I'm moving around so much and I sing for basically 2 hours straight. I'm trying not to eat at least 2 hours before I go on. I'll either have like protein drink at like 4:30, and then I won't really have dinner until like 11:30 or midnight because your after show food fills that void. But on days off, we could eat together as bands. But to be honest with you, it's like you look for a little autonomy on those days off typically. Every now and again, it's like somebody's in town or it's somebody's birthday and like band and crew will get together. And I can handle that for like an hour or so. But yeah, I mean, I straight up, I eat in my bunk a lot. I'll close my little curtain. I'll put on my headphones and I'll watch what I want to watch. Because you just don't get a lot of time to do the things that, you share most things on tour. So,
And not the bunk is on the bus where you have like a little curtain.
Yeah, on the buses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Everybody in this band is very different from one another, like musical taste. Tyler, the drummer, he's a foodie. He'd be fun to do this with you too. He's great at cooking and total foodie and loves to like look out for restaurants when we're in town on tour. Yeah, we don't do a ton of like full band sit down meals.
As you heard earlier, Jonathan doesn't have a lot of positive eating memories from childhood, but there is one particular food he's nostalgic for. That's coming up after the break. You had said that you are obnoxiously sentimental, and I'm wondering if that translates to food at all and eating.
Yeah. Last night when I was going through some prep work, I guess, to have something to talk about, at first I was overwhelmed by these questions. I was like, oh man, I really want to be like impressive on this podcast. And I was like, no, the reality is I don't know anything really about food. I grew up pretty simply, pretty like blue collar. There was always bologna and American cheese. I think we literally just had like white bread, yellow mustard. My mom doesn't believe in mayonnaise. And so I'm just going to talk about what I know.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah, I want to know what you really have to say. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I did feel sentimental in that moment. I was like, oh man, Vienna sausages. Like, I used to eat a lot of Vienna sausages straight out of the can, sometimes microwaved. Neither one I would recommend, or actually I would at least recommend trying it once. But
I've never had a Vienna sausage. Can you describe what they're like?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even, what is that? Is
it like a hot dog?
They're like a third of a hot dog. Like the can is a pretty cute size can. And so you've got, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got like maybe 6 of these little Vienna sausages. And they're just in some like a brined liquid, I would imagine.
Hot dog juice.
Hot dog juice. And you just peel the top off. And you can just eat them like that because it's like they're pre-cooked, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people microwave them. I've never met anyone, to be honest with you, that's eating this food. So, I mean, it might be cat food. I don't know. I don't even know if it's a step up from cat food, but
I've seen them in the store and I've been curious because I've heard of people, like, I don't know anyone who eats them now, but it seems like a lot of people ate them in childhood, or people who like their family didn't have a lot of money would eat them in childhood.
Yeah. That was my situation. Like nothing gourmet.
Yeah.
No gourmet. We never really went out to dinner. I think we probably ate on paper plates like cats for years. It's still still if we go to my mom's house, she'll make spaghetti and we'll be eating on paper plates. And we're like, what the? Okay, your question was, am I obnoxiously sentimental? I mean, I am, especially this time of year. It's fall, like the winds are coming in. The leaves are blowing. It's cooling off. The humidity is gone. The leaves are changing. The light is changing. Everything is changing. I love fall so much. And yeah, right, the smells change, like everything changes. Like you want to cook differently, you want to eat differently, you want to cuddle differently, like longer or whatever, like blankets are coming out. And does it pertain to food? I think it does. For me, I'm definitely thinking more about like soups. I love like when something is cooking all day long and your house just smells like cooking,
And that was Jonathan Russell's last meal. The Head and the Heart's newest album is called Aperture. They are heading back on tour in January, first playing Australia with the Lumineers, then back to the US with another Seattle area force, Brandi Carlile. The Head and the Heart are playing a sold-out show with the Seattle Symphony in February at Benaroya Hall. Thanks to Allison Ward with the Seattle Symphony for making this interview happen. And thanks to my friend Roz Ray. If she's at your party, make sure and give her a job. Your Last Meal is a product of Seattle's Cascade PBS. Go to cascadepbs.org to become a member and get on-demand access to all PBS programming, including lots and lots of food shows. This episode was produced by me and senior producer Sarah Bernard, who also mixed and mastered it. Original theme music by Prom Queen, who I have actually seen play at Connor Byrne. I'm Rachel Belle, and this is Your Last Meal.
I wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed the Isaac Brock one you did.
Oh, thanks.
I'm a huge Modest Mouse fan, and yeah, that was great. It was.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
He was kooky. He was really fun to talk to. I wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, his music is I feel like he makes music where you're like, how does what type of a life do you live to make music like that? You know, and so to talk about food, which is so terrestrial, you're like, okay, that's a way in. So yeah, it was really interesting to hear him talk about it and hear your interview with him. So
thanks.
So yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been
of course.